Okay, bowlers, your lanes are coming on for 10 minutes of practice. 10.
Good morning, everyone, from Bolero Mount Prospect. This is the .10 a.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. here in Mount Prospect. Squad for today's PBA LBC National Championships. Second squad begins at 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. We do have a qualifying squad tomorrow. As well, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. here in Bolero Mount Prospect. I'm $2 Phil Brillo taking you through the weekend again. I know last week we said, we don't have any PBA professionals this week. We're not going to have any booth feeds to bring you the action. You're still going to be able to watch all the pair-by-pair feeds, but you won't have anybody tipping you off to if somebody's shooting a 300 or that type of thing. Well, guess what? The powers that be at the PBA decided this weekend, especially with a couple of the returning division champions from last year and our inaugural year in 2023. We're going to have some booth feeds for you this weekend. You're going to have 3 previous champions on this squad. We'll introduce you to them coming up shortly with Hunter Lawless, who won the men's handicap division in 2023. Garrett Bear, who won the boys handicap division in 2024. And Gianna Brandolino, who finished second in the women's classic division last year, but that was a good enough finish to get her into the PBA LBC National Championships clash in Portland, Maine, and she took down the $60,000 top prize. In Portland last year. Took it as smart scholarship money since she is technically a youth player, and she'll be using that when she begins her career at Jacksonville State. So all the lanes in play. If you open up the description on the video that you're watching this morning, you'll see the links to all the different pair feeds, so you can follow your favorite player. All 6 games of the qualifying round, if you so choose, I recommend you double tab it. So keep us on here in the main feed, because we'll follow hot hands. If somebody's going for a 300 game or somebody's going for the tournament lead, we will have them on in here, and we can give you the audio call on that while you are following your favorite player on one of the other pair feeds as we go along here. If you're looking for Garrett Bear or Gianna Brandolino, you're going to see him here on this feed to start with, lanes 11 to 14. Why are all the lights on? Now we get a good look at Gianna Brandolino as she's going to stay loose on that pair of lanes. Got about 2.5 minutes of practice remaining. If you have any questions about the PBA LBC National Championships, make sure you drop them in the chat. We'll do the best we can to answer them for you. If I can't get the answer immediately, well, I can always check with our PBA LBC National Championships Director and Tournament Manager, Neil Stremmel. And get you the answer about what's going on for the PBA LBC National Championships here in 2025. So we will start you off with our players here on 11 through 14. We'll circle our way around the center a bit. And once again, if you have a favorite player you want to watch, all 28 lanes in play on this squad, 2 pairs not in play. Lanes 19 and 20, lanes 33 and 34. Due to this being a less than full squad, just slightly less than full. Players will move pairs after every game, so if you do have a favorite, don't get focused on one of the pair feeds, as they will have chance to move after every game. They'll cross the entire house just like a PBA squad. If they were actually on the Pro Tour, that's what this PBA LBC National Championships is all about. Give players of any average ability to feel what it's like to bowl a PBA Tour event.
Okay, PBA LBC tournament bowlers, your 10 minutes of practice is now complete. Before we get started, a reminder that when everybody on your pair is finished, please make sure to hit the space bar in between games to move your scores to the next pair. All right, everyone, let's give these competitors a nice round of applause. Okay, good luck and good scoring.
All right, so here we go. On 11 and 12, along with our defending boys handicap champion, Garrett Bear, who's coming in with a bit of a higher average than last year, coming in at 173 for Bear. He's bowling with Jace Kuffner. Kuffner also in the boys handicap division, coming in at a 113 average. Hunter Kuffner. Hunter coming in at a 133 average. And Mitchell Geja. And Mitchell, I have bowling in the men's Open Classic division with Gianna Brandolino on her pair. We have Justin McNally, who's bowling in the Open Classic division. Christian LaCory, young player who's moved up into the Open Classic division. Players under the age of 18 do have the option of moving up, like we saw with Gianna last year, into one of the scratch divisions, whether it's Open Classic or Women's Classic. In order to test their abilities and have a chance at a little bit larger of a prize fund, as for the Open Classic, it's $25,000 on top. We saw Trey Heinrichsmeyer back in 2023 as a youth player take down the $25,000 top prize in that Open Classic division. He took it as a scholarship. And we saw Gianna do that last year, moving up from girls handicap to Women's Classic, taking second there, and then obviously with her big win in the Clash. Also on that pair is Kyle McNally. Kyle also bowling in the Open Classic division. So we'll stick with this pair for a couple of frames, and then we'll check in with our 2023 men's handicap champion, Hunter Lawless. If you're looking for Lawless right now, he's actually bowling on lanes 9 and 10. Starting things off this morning. Garrett looks pretty cool, calm, and collected right now. Started with an open frame on that split, looking to bounce back. Never easy to walk back into a building as a defending champion. We talked to Graham Fa last week. You may have seen that video on the PBA League Bowler Certification Facebook page yesterday. If you haven't, check it out after the squad. As Graham was our defending PBA exempt division champion for 2024, bowled last week. Didn't have the week he was looking for. A little rough on the carry, getting the ball through the pins the right way for Graham, but he can give you a tip or two. And I'm sure for Gianna, even with all her years of experience on Junior Team USA, through PBA junior competition, junior gold competition, international youth competition. I'm sure there were a few butterflies in her stomach walking in today knowing that there's going to be a lot of eyeballs on her. She took down that $60,000 in the Clash last year, taking out Chris Prather on the final frame after 12 previous rounds of competition. Prather started with a 7 count. Gianna left the flat 10. Best flat 10 she's ever left in her career, if you ask her, I bet. Because that flat 10 was enough to get her the $60K in scholarship money. Hey, Pat Brown, thanks for joining us this morning. I know you were with us last week when I blatantly lied and said there were no main feeds this week. Well, I didn't blatantly lie, let's be honest. Just didn't think there were going to be any, and the powers that be at the PBA LBC National Championships decided that everything last week, all the viewers we had in the main feed, I'm sure Norm Doak helped us out with that a little bit. Always great having Norm in the booth, but some great young players we have that we want to make sure get featured, like Gianna and Garrett and Hunter. We can follow them all morning long here in the live feed, and we'll take a peek in on some hot hands and stuff. If somebody gets a big run or they're going for the tournament lead, we'll definitely be sure to follow them here in the main feed. And if you have questions, drop them in the chat. We'll do the best we can to answer them for you. Let's go next door. Let's take a peek in on our champion from 2023, the inaugural year of this event when it was at Bolero Wauwatosa in Wisconsin. Hunter Lawless, he's got the scoreboard on the upper right on lanes 9 and 10. He'll be back up for his beverage frame toss momentarily. Hunter, he's moved up. He's in the Open Classic division, so his game is improved. Since 2023. It's always good to see. Younger players still working hard at the game, still working to get better. And you'll see Lawless step up on lane 10. Hunter, originally from Wisconsin, moved to Florida, and they're one of the main reasons why he bowled in 2023 was basically for a bowling vacation. As you see Hunter throw his hands up in the air, got the crossover strike after 3 straight opens. It was a bowling vacation for him. He had friends and family he wanted to see back home, brought the bowling balls with him, took the chance, paid the entry fee, and took home that inaugural men's handicap division championship. Almost the cover there for Jace. Or if he calls himself Jace instead of Jason because of Jason Belmonte. Jace always, you hear a lot of guys on tour going, hey, Jace, when they run into him. Take a look at Garrett. Garrett's easily got to be, from talking with our tournament manager, Neil Stremmel, a little while ago, got to be almost 6 inches taller than last time we saw him in Portland last September. And definitely the balance and the two-handed style, he's really worked hard on improving that finishing position and balance. Unfortunately, it isn't working out for him on that particular shot. As Gianna gets the railroad covered. Gianna got hot the last 3 games last year to get herself in that number 2 position. She had some problems last year with spares early. I think she said she missed 2 or 3 single pin spares early in the round, and no lucky bounce for Bear. He's coming in with a 173 average, so he's probably 40 pins higher than he was last year. That's the one good thing about this sport. When young players work on it, and not even just young players, a player like Hunter Lawless, you keep working at it, especially on the spare game, and you can really make sure that average keeps going up. I mean, look at Garrett last year getting the interview from Kimberly Pressler. Looks all cool, calm, collected, poised. I don't think the hairstyle's changed that much for Garrett. As you see him take the toss on lane 11. There you go, taking all 10 back. Let's take a look at Garrett from his first shot last year in Portland. The LBC class was only 7, but he got through that first round, got through quite a few rounds before a very errant shot in round 5. Took him out of the event. And we mentioned the spare shooting issues for Gianna early last year that she came back from. You see now leaves her with a max of 224 in this game. And the mark of a champion, forget the last frame, bring it back. And speaking of that, there's last year. After Chris Prather put a 7 count on the board in the final round of the clash, there you see the weak 10 for Gianna, but that works perfectly. Gets the high 5 from Prather, gets the trophy in a little bit from Norm Duke and $60,000 in scholarship money went home with Gianna. Just incredible. Hunter Lawless finishes with 202 his opening game. It's not a bad start for Lawless. And we flash back to 2023. There you see Hunter. Different hairstyle, different beard style. Back in 2023. Not much different on the beard, but definitely a little bit more closer shaved on the sides of the head than we saw back in 2023 as Hunter found himself in a roll-off early in that clash. Got through a couple rounds before being eliminated. So not a bad showing in the clash in 2023 for Hunter. All right, so game one getting finished here. Player movement. Players will be moving 2 pairs and landing on the 3rd. So the players you see here on 13 and 14, they'll end up on 21 and 22. If my lane movement chart is correct. 11 and 12, they'll move up to 17, 18. So lane movement. And our second of this 6-game block from Bellarmine Prospect, the PBA LBC National Championships. Another squad coming up today, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. And we round out the weekend with our Sunday squad, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. tomorrow. right, we're going to stick with bouncing around between Gianna, Garrett Beyer, and Hunter Lawless again in game 2. So if there's somebody on the squad that you're looking for that we haven't shown yet, you do have all those pair feeds available to you. If you just open the description up below the video that you're watching. If you're watching full screen right now, you'll need to back out of that and go down, and you can see all the pair feeds. You go also on the PBA YouTube landing page. You'll see all the live stream links for all the pairs. And that's, every game, every squad, all the way through. Even if we don't have a main feed for you on some squads, we will always have every pair covered for you to watch. And, the genius that is Tom Clark knew how important being visible and transparent for anyone wanting to bowl this event. And it's still not too late to get in. You can still register. Some of the squads, the last couple of weekends in June are going to be really tough to get in. Those are basically sold out. There might be a single spot here and there, but definitely still room those final 2 weekends of the event in July for you and your friends to come in and bowl. And it doesn't matter your average or ability. There is a division for you. 8 divisions overall. Obviously, the PBA exempt division for those players that were exempt on tour last year. You don't have to bowl against the pros, but you can bowl with them as your doubles partner. Or if you want to put, I guess as Tom Clark puts it, a fantasy bowling team together, you can bowl a 4-player team with 3 PBA exempt players, because the singles option, obviously, and when you pay your 6-game entry fee, your doubles, which counts your first 3 games of your qualifying, you can pair up with anybody. Even if you're a handicap division player, they will include your handicap with the PBA exempt players' scratch score. Or if you're a men's handicap player and want to bowl with another Open Classic division player, you can do that. Your handicap would still count. So you do have that benefit. And the movement chart I have, let's take a look here. There's Gianna. There we go. We did mention 21-22 for her. Yeah, she starts with a strike. There you see Garrett Bear. So he's on 17-18, 19-20 play the squad. Christian Corey, thanks for dropping that information in the chat, John, about Christian bowling for Savannah College of Art and Design and Junior Team USA. I honestly wish I had more time to follow younger players like I was able to do in the past. Unfortunately, with a lot of commitments now for stuff I do with the PBA, stuff I do around Milwaukee with my local televised bowling show, the Brew City Bowling Show, and some other events. I just don't follow the youth bowling as much as I should to find out who all the up-and-comers are. So thanks for dropping that in the chat, John. Robin, good morning again from South Africa. Last South African bowler I met was Fran Lau. I think he's still coaching in the Mideast somewhere. Maybe you can correct me on that, Robin, if he's back home in South Africa now or what Fran might be doing. Let's check in now. As we mentioned, we've got our men's handicap champion for 2023 with Hunter Lawless, and our boys handicap champion from 2024 with Garrett Bear. Bowling next to each other here on 15 through 18. Just amazing. We saw Garrett. I showed you that clip in game one from the PBA LBC National Championships clash last year. How much better Garrett's balance, follow throughs. He's got definitely a few more revolutions on the ball. Get that 10 out of there. Yeah, it went, Garrett. It's good. If you might need a score correction on that. So it looks like they did fix Garrett's frame to a strike as I went back and verified. One of the great things about having YouTube on all of our pair feeds is that we can verify pinfall on certain lanes or if a player fouled. We had that last week. We were able to go back to our YouTube feeds and settle that dispute. The player did not foul. We had concrete evidence of that. So in most cases, unless a majority of bowlers would have agreed that the bowler didn't foul, unfortunately for that player, there really wasn't anybody watching at the moment because it happened after his ball hit the pins and he had turned around, started back to the foul line when the foul light went off. But we had conclusive proof. So that helped the player avoid a foul. So it's nice having that available too to settle disputes, having an extra benefit of our live streaming for you, the fans. It also helps our players out to make sure every ball that's thrown is fair and equitable and there's no issues with late pinfall. Did the machine hit it? That type of thing. We'll watch Bear go for the spare. Picks it up. We'll watch Lawless toss, and then we'll get back to Gianna Brandolino, who has started this second game with the front three. There you go. Lawless scrambles it up. There's LaCorey with a double of his own. Watching everybody attack this 43-foot LBC National Championships pattern. We had some great tips from Norm Duke last week about how to attack this pattern, what to consider maybe for equipment to bring along, how to get yourself ready if it's your first time here at the PBA LBC National Championships. So if you missed those tips on the PBA League Bowler Certification Facebook page, they're also on the PBA YouTube channel. You can watch those tips by Norm after this squad is done. It's pattern 42 feet in length with about 31 and a quarter milliliters of oil in it, so a good volume of oil that'll hold up through the 6 games for all these players. We're seeing players using various types of equipment, various areas of the lane, but they're all looking to get that bowling ball on the break point down to about 8th, 9th board. We've seen some bowlers at break points even farther right with a little slower ball speed, like you see there with Gianna. Are you kidding me? The 6 touches the 10 in about 4 different places, but doesn't knock it over. It's like the 6 hit the front of the 10 and it started to fall, and then it came around, hit the back of the 10 and left it in place. Just not right. Tournament manager Neil Strum stopping by the booth. We're going to get Neil in during game 4 this morning. So wait till he gets in the booth. If you have any questions about PBA LBC National Championships, if I can't answer them for him, I'm sure Neil will be able to do that. Also, if you have questions about what the PBA does to test equipment, I know a lot of the research that Neil did had the PBA institute that new rule for 78 hardness on urethane bowling balls for this 2025 season. You know, also with the national tour rule of no bowling balls more than 2 years old. So in this case, it had to be dated after 2023 for all bowling balls, except for, of course, polyester spare balls. Those are grandfathered in on a case-by-case basis. So a lot of research Neil does to make sure that the competition at the greatest levels of the sport with the PBA Tour and the PBA Regional Tour stay fair and equitable for all when it comes to the equipment used. And of course, Neil's research into the approval of Cubica AMF string pins doesn't mean other machines can't be approved in the future for the string pins, but Cubica was the only one that applied for it so far with the PBA. And you see there for Gianna, yeah, she was not happy with that at release. And the tricky 2-7. And when I say tricky, because for a right-hander, she's going to be hooking into the 2-pin. You hit that 2-pin too firm, and it's going to go straight back and miss the 7. Or you hit it too light, and you can send the 2 around the 7. Best thing to do here at the left side of the 2-pin, have the ball carry into the 7. Looks like Jan's going to go pretty straight at. No, she is going to take the scenic road. And that's exactly what happened. That's why I was a little surprised by that. I thought she'd go more direct and aim at the left side of the 2-pin, but went for the right side. The scenic route, tried to get the ball to push through to the 7. Did not happen. Once again, still plenty of time to get in and enter the PBA LBC National Championships for 2025. Your best bet on bowling squads, as I mentioned, those 2 weeks in July that the event wraps up with, 5th and 6th and 12th and 13th of July. Still openings on those squads. Next weekend, we just have squads on Saturday, as this event will take Father's Day off. Hey, take Dad bowling for Father's Day. It's a lot of fun. And don't forget that your local Bolero AMF Lucky Strike Center, they all have the Summer Pass program. You can buy that pass good all summer long for 2 games a day. You also get some great benefits along with the bowling, including arcade discounts and such. Stop by your local Bolero AMF or Lucky Strike Center, get all that information, or you can go online. I'm still so familiar, and since this is a Bolero as well, I usually just go to bolero.com. You get that summer season pass. 2 games of bowling and shoe rental every day of the summer. And if you know you're just going to be at one Bolero center, you can buy the basic summer pass. For a few dollars more. You can buy the premium pass. And not only does it get you the 2 games of bowling and shoe rental, but it also gets you arcade reloads for a reduced price and 15% off food and non-alcoholic beverages. And you can use it at any Bolero, AMF, or Lucky Strike Center all summer long. So if you're looking to stay sharp, even if you're a bowler at bowls and leagues and that type of thing, and you're just looking to, get through the motions, repeat shots, during practice, don't worry about your score. You're more worried about the function and stuff, then get yourself a premium pass and get yourself a couple games of practice every day for a really reduced rate. I mean, $55 for 2 games a day all summer long is a great deal all the way through the end of August. Basically, more than 2.5 months of use you have to go yet on that $55 you'd spend on that premium pass. And as Gianna gets back with a double after that open frame. And the premium pass, the advantage of it is if you have multiple Bolero or AMF Lucky Strike centers in your area, let's say somebody wanted to come here and they want to bowl today. A little busy with squads right now, obviously the PBA LBC, but they can go to any of the Boleros nearby to Bolero Mount Prospect. They can go up to Roselle, they can go out to Algonquin, and they could bowl their 2 games there, get it in, and then get out and enjoy the rest of the nice afternoon. It's going to be a gorgeous day here in Chicago early. A little rain coming in this afternoon. But these bowlers will have a nice chance to get out and enjoy some of the things in the area. And I know a couple of the players that are on this squad are doing double duty today. They're going up to Bolero up in Vernon Hills. And they're going to be bowling the PBA LBC National Championships sister tournament, the Peterson Classic. Norm had some great Peterson stories last week when he was on. It's an event that every bowler should bowl at least once in their life, no matter what their average or ability is, because the way the lanes are conditioned, you can't even really call it a condition. Some of the pairs, some lanes will be really dry, some lanes will feel like there's 80 feet of oil in a 60-foot lane. The pin's old and off spot. Yeah, it's a fun. When you know what you're getting into, it can be a fun but frustrating experience. See if Garrett can be on that spare. Yes, indeed. That's probably the way he's really boosted his average. Up to 173 from his average last year in the 130s. His spare game has improved to go along with a little bit more powerful strike ball. So there you see Hunter's teammates. I don't know. I didn't ask him if they got into that optional team event. If you get a 4-player team together, you use games 4, 5, and 6 of your qualifying block for that team score. And once again, you can have a mix of handicap division bowlers, open division bowlers, women's classic division bowlers, senior classic division bowlers. The only thing is for the youth players, if you're under 18, you can't be in a multiple player event and win money. Even they can't break it up as prize money for adults and scholarship money for the kids. As Garrett finds trouble on a spare, and that's really going to bring the total backwards this game. But all the adult players, so like if Hunter Lawless, who's now in the Open Classic division, was bowling with his 3 teammates, a couple of them in the men's handicap division, they can put that 4-player team together and use whatever players have handicap, get that total together for their games 4, 5, and 6, and maybe have a chance to take out some extra prize money here from Bolero Mount Prospect. So Lawless can get to 195. He spares that, gets the full ride. Bear, yeah, you see the frustration, and it really got quick there. He's looking at a 187 max. Let's get back to Brandolino as she has a chance to get to 256 if she can catch them all in the 10th frame. Thanks to everybody joining us this morning, wherever you may be located in the world. I know, see just from the chat, I know we have Robin in South Africa. I know we have another player, it looks like, I'm guessing Korean script for their name in the YouTube chat. So, yep. Every pair and play covered for you. So you can follow your favorite player game by game. I know we're kind of concentrating on some past champions here in the main feed, but for those players, uh-oh, we got a runaway bowling ball. Yeah, you can follow your favorite player, any squad, every game, every frame, every lane, every squad throughout the event here. And another 10-pin for Gianna to end that string. So she's going to end up with a max of 235. Good bounce back after that open in the 5th frame. So we will have player movement again this game. And they'll just move a pair next door, so you're going to have to change feeds if you're going to stay with Gianna and Christian and their lane mates on every shot, as they're moving to 23 and 24. Garrett Byer, his lane mates will move to 21 and 22, and Hunter Laws, his lane mates move to 17 and 18. As we will have Game 3 of this squad of the PBA LBC National Championships rolling on after player movement. Once again, any questions about this LBC National Championships you have, drop them in the chat. We'll get them answered for you next game, and we'll have our tournament manager, Neil Stremmel, in the booth coming in on Game 4 this morning. Garrett Byer trying to right the ship here after a rough finish to Game 2. Stepping up, looking for the double here in Game 3. Start things off. That looks pretty good out of the hand. On the wrap 10. Tell you what, after talking to Graham Fa last week, just getting the ball through the pin so it finishes properly. You don't get those weak 10s. Wrap 10, yeah, you might have to make the little move off of that. So, but then get in there, pick up your spare, move on. Hey, there's a carry. Gianna just gets it to go, so she's got 8 spare to start things off here. In Game 3, we're sticking around with our past champions once again. We'll get an idea if somebody's got a good chance at making a run for the lead in any of the divisions after this game. There we go, for Gianna. It's peeking on Lawless and company. As we mentioned earlier, Lawless are 2023 men's handicap division winner. Currently, after our opening weekend, of course, all stats are unofficial for our handicap divisions, because we do need to verify all averages used. I know we're having an average verification currently in both the boys and girls handicap divisions. In our women's handicap division, Jennifer Fitzgerald leads with a 1353 total with handicap. She came in with a 111 average and put up a bunch of games right around her average in the 120s and 130s, but a big 165 in Game 4 is what has her in the lead currently. Fitzgerald 132, 125, 103, 165, 111, 129 for her games last week. In our men's handicap division, Robert Morris is currently in the lead after the opening weekend. Robert with a 173 average, bowl games of 189, 190, 204. Okay, pretty quiet to start with, a few pins over average. And back-to-back big games of 235 and 239, along with a strong 193 finish for Robert. Got him to his total of 1502 with scratch pinfall total of 1250. So a good start for Robert Morris. And that Brianna Stewart, many know her as the good-looking side of the Kyle Troop Brianna Stewart couple. Brianna, our leader early on after our opening weekend, of competition, but her scratch total of 1045 isn't going to hold on. But it was good to see Brianna able to bowl with her son Caleb and with her fiance Kyle Troop last weekend. I'm not sure if Brianna and Caleb are with Kyle this weekend. Don't forget the PBA Tour Finals, which will next year be known as the PBA Commissioner's Cup event. That's taking place from Steel City Bowl and Brews in Pennsylvania this afternoon and tomorrow night on CBS Sports Network. Your broadcast times today begin at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So we'll be in the later portion of our 3 p.m. Eastern round when that starts. So hopefully you can either double screen us, or if you have a DVR, set your DVR and play catch up with those positioning rounds of the Tour Finals. Then tomorrow, also starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have our 2 groups of stepladder finals until we get to our championship match. That begins 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. Once again, that's on CBS Sports Network. And once again, if you missed the news over this past week or so, the big deal announced between the PBA and CBS Sports, which includes airtime on the big CBS network as well. That will be coming up for you in the 2026 season. Check back in with Garrett Bayer. Those single pins will really bite you in the butt sometimes. It's Bayer, the open frame on the single pin in the second. And he's really getting that one in the gutter early, trying to play the front part of the lane very direct. Fortunately for Garrett, finds a little bit too much hook. And the tough 3-6-10. Was lucky to get the 9 out, and that's what happens. It's LBC National Championships pattern with a little more oil on the outside than some players are used to on their league patterns at home. Making that slight adjustment necessary, knowing your ball's not going to hook back as much from the middle of the lane on those right side spares as Jana leaves the week 10. Bryce, no PBA pros with me all weekend long. This was, I wouldn't say unplanned, but last minute adjustment to our programming schedule with having main feeds this weekend. Should have a main feed for one of the squads next weekend as well. Just need to verify what pros will actually be here at what time next Saturday, as Jana can't get the tend to go on that slightly high hit. But we can tell you some of the pros coming in over the next few weeks. So if you want to watch them bowl, regardless if we have a main feed or not, you'll be able to do that. So put these on your schedule. Matt Sanders and Justin Knowles, the lefty pair, will hit the lanes next Saturday, June 14th at 2 p.m. Cam Crow getting up bright and early. He'll be joining us on June 21st, that Saturday morning 9 a.m. squad. And then our 2 p.m. squad that day, we'll have A.J. Chapman, Zach Wilkins, and E.J. Tackett. So a lot of star power coming up on June 21st. Sunday, June 22nd, we'll have Tim Foy Jr. hitting the lanes at 11 a.m., our normal start time for our squads locally. Of course, add an hour to those times I'm giving you. If you're in the Eastern time zone, subtract an hour in the Mountain, subtract 2 hours in the Pacific time zone. Special 1 p.m. squad on June 27th. There's going to be a lot of PBA 50 tour players on that squad, but there's also going to be one PBA exempt bowler in the field that day. That's Nate Purchase on Friday, June 27th at 1 p.m. But if you want to see players like a Pete Weber, like a Tom Adcock, Tom Hess, some of the biggest PBA 50 tour names will be bowling on Friday, June 27th. And a big weekend as well. We mentioned already, trying to get a spot for the 27th, 28th, 29th. If you haven't entered already, probably not going to happen. All those squads pretty much sold out, or maybe one spot remaining. But you can watch Sean Lavery spar on our 9 a.m. squad on Saturday, June 28th. Brandon Runk, 2 p.m. on the 28th, and Dio Bernard, Patrick Dombrowski, and Bailey Maverick will be on the 7 p.m. squad that day. So, that once again, on the 21st and the 28th, we'll have special 7 p.m. squads that night to handle the amount of bowlers we have bowling on those weekends. Sunday morning, June 29th, Chris Prather and Andrew Anderson, that great doubles team. Oh, they can pair up again. They can pay their entry fee, bowl together, use their game 1, 2, 3 scores for that doubles competition. That's June 29th, 11 a.m. on that Sunday. Bug Curl, Christian Ascona bowling on Saturday, July 5th at 2 p.m. Great toss there by Gianna. And let's see if Kyle McNally can keep the run going here. Kyle on the front 7. Bug Curl, Christian Ascona, as we mentioned on that Saturday 2 p.m. squad, July 5th. July 6th, Packy Hanrahan, Tom Smallwood. That's the 11 a.m. squad. And then our final day of the event, Kyle Sherman, Bill O'Neill, July 13th at 11 a.m. And is Kyle going to trip it? No, he's going to leave a big wide open split, so the run ends there for Kyle McNally. And there's going to be other pros being added as well. I know talking to A.J. Johnson a couple of weeks ago, he's looking to get in on a squad when his schedule permits. So if you haven't already liked the PBA League Bowler Certification Facebook page yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that like button when you get to that page. And get all the latest and greatest information on what's going on here at the PBA LBC National Championships. Get some great highlight videos as well. As we mentioned already, Norm Duke, some great tips for everyone. You can scroll back through and you can see where we talked to a couple of our PBA exempt players last week with Kyle Troop and his lovely fiancee, Brianna Stewart, along with Graham Fa, and see what they thought about their PBA LBC National Championship experience was all about. Brandolino, she wasn't sure on that one. You can see the smile on the way back. I think she's thinking to herself, yeah, I just got away with that one. So if she get to 246 in this game, she can get herself up in that 660 total for 3. Once again, like we said, she made the big run last year. And she's got a chance to make the big run this year in the last 3 games. Last year, because of the rules that were in effect, Gianna was able to advance to the LBC Clash because they took 2 bowlers out of each division for the Senior Classic and Open and Women's Classic divisions. That needs to hold. Oh, and it does for Gianna, so the 246 still out there. This year the rules state 1 bowler, the top bowler in each division, advances to the Clash. So there'll just be 8 players advancing this year. Of course, those rules could be modified dependent on entries and such as it goes along. So will we see just 8? Will we see more? Well, we'll find out as the tournament progresses. I love watching the kids in single digits ages coming out here to bowl a great event like the PBA LBC National Championships. Watching Jace right there. I think Jace is 9. We've had several players over the first 2 years of this event bowl as young players in the boys or girls handicap division. So Bear comes high, leaves that 9-pin. Brandolino went through the beak on the second shot in the 10th. So she'll be in the 230s this game. Still in solid shape. She can pop a couple of big scores in her last 3 games. She can get herself to a solid position in the women's classic division. But yeah, some young players have won some scholarship money, and Bear, yikes. Not a good place for that open. He's not going to hit his average this game. Yeah, it's not too late to get in. PBA.com/LBC tournament has all your tournament information. As we are reaching the halfway point of this squad. Once again, there's another squad today. 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, your start time for that squad. And our standard Sunday squad tomorrow, noon Eastern, 11 a.m. here at Palermo Mount Prospect. You can watch all the action on all the pairs on the PBA YouTube channel. Glad everyone's enjoying the stream this morning. Glad there's a lot of people watching the pair-by-pair feeds as well. And we appreciate those of you that let others know. That they can watch PBA LBC National Championships on YouTube. big move for our players as you follow them this morning. The players you see here on 21-22 for Game 4. They're going to move up to 29 and 30. So they're going to skip 3 pairs and land on the 4th on this particular move. All right, let's join Hunter Lawless and crew as they're already underway. Lawless bowling with Perry Paulson, Teresa Paulson, Joe Marshall. No, Joe Marshall he is. I'm sorry. The other players are James Harris and Chris Squires. Squires in the men's handicap division. Coming in at a 193 average. Harris coming in at a 197 average. And Joe Marshall, also bowling in the men's handicap division, coming in at a 183 average. So Lawless looking for the three-bagger here. Just take a quick stroll across the center. Don't see any big totals that are challenging any of the division leaders right now, but once again, as we saw with Gianna Brandolino, great toss there by Lawless for the three-bagger. Brandolino sitting at 650 for her throws first three. She can throw a 750 up there, get up to 1,400. That could be a division, maybe not winning overall once we're through all the weeks here at the PBA LBC National Championships, but definitely a contender. As she gets the four to trip. Oh, a little fist pump there, a little rubbing it into somebody on the pair. Yeah, as you see her talking with Christian LaCory. See a question from Pat about the, I assume for the finals you mean the LBC National Championships clash like we saw last year from Portland. Actually, the last 2 years in Portland. I don't know the exact plans yet. I'm hoping for TV. I mean, it's always great to get the exposure for this event out on national television. Whether or not that's going to happen or not, that's still up in the cloud right now. Something tells me we haven't seen or heard the last of the PBA broadcast media deals yet. I have no extra information than anybody, and even when we had Tom Clark here opening weekend, he wasn't spilling any tea on anything other than the two that were announced. But there may be, who knows. All I know right now is that the only bowlers that are scheduled to make it are the top in each of the 8 divisions. Whether that expands or not, depending on entry and media coverage again, we'll find out as it progresses. I mean, I'm sure there won't be any qualms about adding bowlers to the clash. Obviously, they're not going to subtract bowlers from the clash. But it'd be nice. That 12 or 13 players is a pretty solid-sized field. I'd love to see on broadcast TV again or on cable TV, whether it be on like the CBS Sports Network. I mean, sure, I'd love to live stream it as well, but I thinking of the overall big picture and exposing people to this event, it's going to be a lot more people that see it, whether it be on the CW or CBS Sports Network. I don't know if it would be a CBS. I don't know if CBS Sports would take the show. I'd love to see it on that. I mean, I think because of the format, one ball, anybody can do it. Anybody can beat anybody in a one-ball roll-off. As Gianna now pays full price. There's no flex on that shot for Gianna. As that ball hits a little weak. And the pocket 7-10. She's got the speed. She can pop one out here. A little more forward roll. Nope. Pitt eats it. Never to be seen again. So as soon as I know, you'll know, Pat, about the clash. Yeah, I haven't heard prize money amounts announced either, but I would assume it would stay the same as the first 2 years, and that's all money that's been added by the PBA. That $100,000 that was in each of the first 2 clashes, that wasn't out of the tournament entry fees or anything for this LBC National Championships. That was a PBA contribution specifically for the clash of the $100,000 each time. And yeah, I would hope that would continue as well. All right, and joining me in the booth is a man who is our tournament director. You're a jack of all trades with the PBA this time of the year. You got research to do with your getting ready for the 2026 PBA season on equipment and such, and then they also have you down here, Neil, on the weekends managing this LBC National Championships. And I gotta admit, week one, super smooth on our end that I saw. I think you guys with the check-in process have it really streamlined, and bowlers are out to their lanes early, and I see a lot of smiling faces, even if they're not bowling the greatest in the world right now.
Yeah, that's all you can do is just try to get everybody going and keep everybody happy. So can't always, you're never going to make everybody happy. But, just doing our best, trying to have fun. And, again, it's an event for, pretty much everybody. We got a category for everybody. So, just try to keep everybody happy and moving forward.
Yeah, 8 divisions. Obviously, the best part for everyone is those 55 bowlers that are in the PBA exempt division. You can bowl at the same time with them. You might even be on the same pair with one of those bowlers that we announced a little earlier, but you're not bowling against them for score, so it's a beautiful thing.
That is correct.
But you can also pair up with those bowlers for your doubles using your first 3 games, or your 4-player team using your games 4, 5, and 6 of qualifying to get those totals. And the side events, they can get all that taken care of before they even walk in the door here at Laurel Mount Prospect, because it's all handled with League Pals. So you don't have to worry about hitting an ATM or anything like that. Just have your credit card handy. And
that is true. Yeah, you can sign up for as many doubles or team events as you want. Just pick all your partners. We have quite a few of the guys bowling. The pros, the exempt pros bowling. We've already had a couple, and we'll have a bunch more coming up next week through the rest of the year. And pick any of them to bowl with, or pick your buddy, pick your friend, just don't pick your nose. And you can pick people like Lenny Borsch or some of those guys as well. So
yeah, we mentioned that big PBA 50 squad coming in on Friday afternoon, June 27th. Lots of big PBA 50 tour names. I'm sure Tom Hess will be on that squad again. I'm sure Pete Weber will be on that squad again. He was not the first 2 years they had that big PBA 50 tour squad. Nice that it's scheduled between a couple of their stops, so it works out well.
Yeah, exactly. It's a kind of a special squad to make sure we can fit them in. And it's a Friday, the 27th of June at 1 o'clock Central Time. So yeah, should be a good squad, extra squad for us. So it'll be fun.
So if you have a question for Neil, drop it in the chat. And one thing I'm gonna ask you right now is, with bowling balls and stuff. I mean, we all know that summer's the big time where all the bowling ball companies are getting ready to release for the fall. So it's a little slow for what new equipment might be coming out here in June and July. Do you have to review those bowling balls that the manufacturers make before they're PBA approved, or do you just go by the USBC certification for the PBA, or do you do supplemental checking on equipment?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. So yeah, if there's anything that stands out to me that might be of concern, I stick my nose in the middle of it and ask for samples. I've done that plenty of times. If there's balls that are being released that we don't have as much concern about, we go ahead and we still have them on a list that goes on PBA.com, actually in 2 different spots, one for the league bowlers and one for the PBA exempt, actually all the PBA tours, the regional, PBA 50 exempt, and PBA junior. So we have that list, and the lists are a little different just because urethane has been removed from all the PBA competition, and so if there's new urethane, that's on the list, but all the older urethane came off. But for the leagues that we have, and for this tournament, we allow that older stuff. I wasn't going to go tell, Edna, who bought her burgundy hammer in 1992, that, she can't use it in her league that she's been in for years and years. So it's, we allow that in the league environment just like USBC, but not in our elite tournament environment, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. So like we saw Graham Fa last week, Graham Fa could have had the option to use a purple hammer, but didn't. He used black hammers all the way through. So.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably has some squirreled away somewhere, and maybe uses them for like the Masters or the U.S. Open.
Right.
But he didn't, and I don't think he did last year, and he did very well last year, and he did fine this year. So.
Yeah, it's just when you shoot, a 272 average for 6 games the year before, expectations might be unreasonably high for that player when they're walking back in the door for a second year. And
yeah, you're set up for a letdown, I think. That's the way it's going to go. But again, he did fine, but just can't maintain the craziness from the year before.
Yeah. We did have someone ask about the 2025 edition of the Clash, and that's all yet TBD on I'm sure the format will be the same, but whether it's going to be on television or a YouTube stream, or how many players will be involved other than our top 8, the top finishers in each of the 8 divisions, that's a TBD as well, right?
Yeah, so we do have in the rules, we had to publish that last year when people started signing up, that it's the top 8, so it's the winners of each division to go to the Clash. And since our deal with Fox was ending, and we didn't have a deal with anybody else quite yet, again last October, we haven't set up a TV finals for the Clash. So that I guess is still kind of TBD. It will happen. It's just when and where is still up in the air a little bit. But that we definitely want to have that on TV, and we have 2 great partners this year. So just trying to iron that out now. But it's been so far so good, and we had a couple of returning champions, 3 on this squad, so that was fun. And again, I mean, I'm sure you've been watching. Gianna's throwing the ball really well.
Yeah.
Game 1 was not what probably she expected, but there's still plenty of time. She's still doing good.
Yeah.
And there she is on lane 31 right now.
So 2 opens offsetting a 3-bagger that started this game. Looks like she's just made a ball change and a little better through the pins for her. One guy we didn't see make a ball change at all last week is my new best friend in the world. I mean, I haven't talked to him since then, but Pedro Velasco Jr. And what did you think the first shot you threw, Pedro, as tournament manager? What?
I was like, all right, what's going on here? But then, again, this is a tournament that allows for a variety of people to do what they want to do, and that's how he bowls, and that allows that kind of stuff to happen here. Yep. So, and he didn't get in anybody's way, slow anybody down, distract anybody, other than bright clothing, and he did well and maintained his shot, his behind the back shot every time. Yep. So
if you missed the first 6 weeks of the noon Eastern, 11 a.m. local time squad last Sunday, it's archived in the PBA YouTube channel. Go back and just listen to Norm Duke's reaction to watching Pedro Velasco Jr. bowl. It was almost the best 6 minutes of my year to this point in live streaming. It really was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun, and there's nothing wrong with being unique in the sport of bowling. Pedro said, if I can't ever throw 12 strikes in a row, there's nothing stopping me from throwing strikes 12 different ways. So he's working on the left-handed behind the back now as well.
Yeah, he threw a kind of a backup ball, a regular ball, but all behind the back, and he bowled pretty good, really.
Yeah, and once again, fully legal. So, there's no one way to skin a cat anymore in bowling. And then it was having, and this is a pretty good discussion that was coming around the internet because somebody posted a picture of an old bowling ball, probably a Brunswick Mineralite from the 19-teens or 1920s. And it only had 2 holes in it apart from each other. So they had like a finger hole that was normally used for the middle finger, and then the thumb. And what a lot of people don't realize back then, and I found this out from just looking at some old books, that type of thing. They would flip the bowling ball around. Because you notice a lot of those older bowling balls like that with just the 2 finger holes, they were the same size.
Yep.
So the bowler would flip them around to get a different ball reaction. And that's probably one of the reasons why with the PBA and USBC, you make the bowlers that don't use the thumb put that X where the palm needs to be.
Yeah, you have to identify how you're going to orientate that ball before you throw it every time, and then that's how you have to throw it every time. Doesn't mean you can't throw a backup or spin it a different way or what have you, but that orientation needs to be the same.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of old wood bowling balls that have 2 holes in them, and you're exactly right. The holes are very, very close to the same size, if not exactly the same size.
Yeah.
They are drilled kind of funny, like pointing right towards the center of the ball.
Yeah.
So it's a weird grip for me. I guess I got bigger hands than the average person.
Yeah.
And probably those were drilled or made back in like the 20s or 30s. So probably people were smaller back then too. So anyways, it fits my hand kind of funny, but also that angle into the ball is unique. But it's a conventional. It's 1 finger conventional and thumb. So it's unique. That's how they did it back then.
And not to put you on the spot here because it just popped in my head, and I apologize, but interesting now. Okay, so if you're a thumbless bowler, you have to have an X where your palm would be. Is there a rule in the rule book that says a bowler that would just have a finger hole and 1 thumb hole drilled that they couldn't spin it around? Is there a rule in the rule book about that?
I don't think there is.
Yeah.
Again,
not
more
to
power
game
to
the
them.
system.
Yeah. More power to them if you can do that with. If you can really hook the ball much with 1 conventional finger in the ball.
Right.
Again, more power to you.
Right.
But I don't think there is anything.
Okay, because just thinking about that, if a bowler used a 2-handed style, because some players like Sean Maldonado and Matt Russo were late converts to taking the thumb out of the ball. What if they just went to finger hole, thumb hole, and then flipped them around the other way? Could be something we may need to be on the lookout for in the near future. Who knows? I mean, you never know with bowling because it's not. Bowlers don't outright cheat, let's say, but bowlers not like NASCAR where like Smokey Yunick would drive a car with an empty gas tank away from inspection, and he'd run gas lines up through the frame of the car and that type of thing to keep extra. I mean, bowlers don't do that, but any little bit they could do to get some type of advantage, especially if there was, let's say, a 6-ball rule or something like that, they might try to stretch the rules a little bit.
Yeah, anytime there's a prize to be had, whether it's money or world championship or who knows what, people are gonna want to stretch the rules as far as they can, and that's why as a rules person, that's why you have to have the rules the way they are.
You're always on your toes looking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you get a dull moment even sitting in the booth with me because somebody could walk up and go, hey, we just had this happen. What's the rule? And you need to be able to be on top of that. So,
yeah, you never know what's going to happen, and it's surprising how many times something comes up and it's like, well, that's actually the first time I've heard of that, and I've been doing this a little while.
Yeah.
But talking about that grip, the Sarge Easter grip is actually very similar. It's a conventional for the ring finger and fingertip for the middle finger, and people do that really to kind of cut back on the rev rate, so somebody like E.J. Tackett has tried that.
Yeah.
I think Robert Smith, back in the day, there's people.
Still Robert Smith.
And so, maybe they take that middle finger out, and then, do you have another option going on there? So I don't want to give anybody any ideas, but I gotta start thinking about that.
Sorry if I just made your job a little tougher.
Somebody's drilling right now.
Right.
Oh man!
Hey, I can do this. Let's try it.
Let me try that.
Stranger things have happened in this sport of bowling. I mean, it's always whatever you can do to get advantage over somebody else. It's been that way even back, as we talked about, with two-finger bowling balls. When they were made of lignium vita, the old wood, if one ball was heavier than another one, they would literally saw them in half and glue them together to make the balance. The term dodo ball came from that, and dodo scale.
Exactly.
And,
that's where that came from. And, that's about the time frame the maximum weight came in. And then, like you said, they're drilling or cutting them in half and gluing them together to get more weight on one side of the ball than the other, and then later do that with a weight block kind of a thing. So always something.
Well, we'll get Neil back in the booth on our 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central squad here from Bolero Mount Prospect. We've got player movement coming up. These players you see on the high end of the house, they're going to make their way down to the low end. We'll keep following our 3 past champions on the squad. Thanks to everybody that's joined us so far. If you do get questions, throw them in the chat. We'll try to answer them the best we can about this PBA LBC National Championships. Let's see. We've got Neil coming back, probably game 4 of the next squad as well.
Sounds good. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Neil. Actually, we're going to interrupt for some breaking news here. CJ Petrin, who took over the lead briefly back in 2023, early on in the Open Classic division before Trey Heinrichsmeyer took care of business a few weeks later. Petrin looking to pop 268 this game. He's already at 699 for his first 3, so getting to 167 over. That's going to be putting in a pretty good challenge. Figure if he can keep pacing at that pace. It's a 241 average for Petrin, so Petrin out of college now. He's bowled some PBA regional events. Formerly on Junior Team USA as well. Just graduated from Oklahoma Christian University. So we'll see if we'll be talking to CJ after this squad, especially with that great start. Sitting at 967 for his first 3.
Gee, where have you been all my life?
Start off here in Game 5 with a few players we've yet to see on camera today. As we get some player movement, we'll be sure to follow CJ Petrin as he moves around. So CJ Petrin is the big man on campus right now in the Open Classic division here, as he'll be starting Game 5 momentarily. As he'll be on lanes 9 and 10. He already started his game with a strike. So we'll get to keep an eye on Petrin, as we mentioned, 167 overs. So right now, Connor Sula is the leader. Pardon me, Connor Pula, the leader in the Open Classic division right now at 1457, or a plus 257 score for his 6 games. So CJ is going to need a 245 average for his last 2 to take the lead, but once again, it's taken scores of 1,500 for 6 games in our first 2 PBA LBC National Championships to take down that Open Classic Division title. But you never know if CJ can put together a couple of 279s back to back. We here at the PBA LBC National Championships booth also can provide information to bowlers in center along with you on the internet for tournament information as to what's going on. We just had a gentleman stop by asking about what pros are bowling when, so you can come by and watch some of his favorite players. And it's kind of cool here because it is pretty relaxed. If you were here last week watching Kyle Troop and Graham Fa while they were bowling, they were interacting with the fans a little bit. They weren't signing autographs during competition or anything like that, but definitely before and after competition, lots of pictures were taken and conversations were had with Fa and Troop. So let's get down to Petrin. He leaves a solid 9 in his second frame. So we'll keep an eye on Petrin. We'll also keep an eye on Brandolino. Of the Gianna variety, because the Vince variety of Brandolinos you see stepping up here on lane 8, bowling in the boys handicap division. And that one comes up very high for Vince. Vince coming in with a 151 average in that boys junior handicap division. Dylan, I have no idea what that particular type of cover stock would be for a pyramid. I would basically tell you that even though reactive resin is a generic that covers all these different cover stocks for majority of the bowling balls made nowadays that aren't 100% urethane or aren't 100% polyester. Yeah, they're pretty proprietary. So I would say something that's named like that GPS navigation cover stock. I'd say that's a type of cover stock that's pretty exclusive to that brand. The best thing to do, to be honest, is a couple of outlets that are pretty level with their reviews on bowling balls. One of them I know of is Bowler's Journal. They have their monthly ball reviews that are done without any type of, the gentlemen doing the reviews aren't on staff or anything. They take a very black and white view on the reviews. So a Bowler's Journal International subscription can be great for you because then you can see all how they rank the bowling balls by hook, length, angle of attack, that type of thing. I'm not sure if Bowling This Month in their digital form is still doing ball reviews. I know that was a thing a few years back. That could be an option. My other guess would be contact somebody at Pyramid directly and they could maybe steer you towards other bowling balls that they manufacture. They're not obviously going to steer you to anybody else, but names are names, and as we said, once it gets down to the molecular level on these cover stocks, everybody's a little bit different. So, I mean, Storm has the 78 IQ, that's their urethane, and then Motive has microcellular polymers that aren't urethane but act like urethane. A lot of it's just in the how they brand things. So, yeah, find somebody that does very objective ball reviews like Bowler's Journal International, and that could really help you out with finding out other balls that may react similarly or be a little more aggressive or a little less aggressive than that bowling ball cover stock you're looking for. Yeah, I know that brand that you mentioned isn't a PBA product registered company. They're USBC certified equipment, but they haven't paid the product registration fee to be part of the PBA. And there's a reason why the PBA charges that registration fee. And brands like Storm and Motive, like you see on Gianna, and Hammer, like you see on some other players, and Brunswick and Rotogrip, and those brands all pay that PBA product registration fee because then they get to be featured at events like this in national television, and the same reason why PWBA has their product registered company. It's to give these companies a little bit of an advantage when they're on the national marketplace. It's advertising. Let's be honest. So I hope what I told you there helps you, Dylan. Thanks for watching. So Gianna trying to get herself a comfortable lead in the women's classic division. Let's check CJ Petrin as he's trying to get into the lead in the open classic division. That one fell off a little bit. And another 9-pin for CJ, you see. Yeah, let's start them young. Here we go. Does this count if we start them young in the booth? 5-pin? No? No one? Come on. There we go. Way to go, Patrick. Start him young. Put the pressure of that 5-pin on him right away. And CJ just converts that. pin. So last year's boys handicap champion trying to make a big comeback. He's only at 49 over for his first 4 games. And Garrett working on a 3-bagger. Make it front 4 for Garrett. You see Gianna just loosening up that arm swing a little bit while she's standing in the approach. Gets the peel nicely, and that's now a 4-bagger for Gianna. See what CJ can do here to bounce back. His only blemishes have been 9-pin, and I'll tell you what, that one was not exactly shot that he had to worry about a 9-pin on. That was dead flush. Here you see Benjamin McNally bowling with, I would assume, his brother Patrick. I don't have the family tree of the McNallys in front of me, unfortunately. Bowling with Vince Brandolino and Tony Steinway. Once again, Vince Brandolino. I'm assuming with the family standing around, that's the younger sibling of one, Gianna Brandolino. Once again, I'm not provided family trees. I'm only provided names and averages here in the booth. Back over Brandolino. Yikes, pocket 710. That's her second one in the last 2 games. So that ball is either perfect going through the pocket or it's just falling a hair weak when it gets there to leave those 710s. Let's see if Garrett Bear can make it a handful. Oh no, that's trouble. Oh, but let's take it. Back in pot games back in the day, that counted as 10 and a spare on that crossover shot. But by USBC rule, you must take a legal delivery pinfall as it happens. And it takes a little bit of a strut back to his seat off the 5 in a row. And week 10, I wonder if we're going to see another ball change for Gianna. Petrin gets a double. So still a solid chance to chase down that lead by Connor Pula. Pula was realistic when he left last weekend. Knew he had a solid score. Knew it wasn't going to be a tournament winning score, but he knew he was going to get a nice check back from the LBC National Championships once all the competition completes on July 13th. I like how these young players are learning that even if the first ball doesn't quite go their way, how important spare shots are to increasing their averages. Let's see what Benjamin McNally can do here. Not too often he probably shoots at the 1-3-6 anymore. Gets it to peel in. Perfectly done by McNally. That's a YouTube highlight if I've ever seen one. Don't see the skip off the lane very often on the PBA Tour, but you get it here at the LBC National Championships. CJ, boy, if he can get those 9 pins back. Instead of looking at 259, he'd be looking at working towards perfection. And if you stop by the PBA National Championships, whether you're bowling, whether you're watching a family member or a friend, don't forget all the great PBA LBC National Championships merchandise. That's available to purchase. Of course, this year's edition of the Duke Trophy t-shirt is spectacular. And even if you're looking for some great PBA Tour swag, they've got it for you, h5gbrands.com. There you can see all the stuff that's available here in 2025. Seeing a lot of PBA Tour players in that comfortable hoodie. And I kind of dig the old school retro t-shirt you see there. Now heading towards the top of your screen on the right. And to go with your PBA Tour beanie you see there on the lower right. It's not on the website yet, but it'll be on there shortly. The PBA Tour scarf, for those of you that like to keep your neck warm during the winter. Great looking scarf they have as well. So you can order all that merchandise, PBA Tour related, PBA Junior related, and PBA LBC National Championships related through H5G Brands at the appropriately named h5gbrands.com. So we'll come back with CJ Petrin on his 10th frame, still with a chance to get to 250s. Gianna can get a chance to get into 240s. Garrett Beyer, boy, those back-to-back single pin misses are just killers for Garrett. Garrett can still get to 246, but he's got a long way to go to get into the top spot again in that boys handicap division. Great kick of the 10 by Gianna. Now over to CJ. CJ, well, he's got a title currently that he won't be able to defend into 2026 as now being a PBA member. He won't be able to defend his 2025 U.S. Amateur Champion title he won at the Team USA trials back in January. He was the runner-up at those trials, so he'll be a part of Team USA proper in 2025. Was a previous member of the Junior Team USA in 2023. First team collegiate All-American. Last 3 seasons of his college career. It's a name you're probably going to hear a lot more of as the PBA seasons progress, and Petrin making a great run to try to close out his qualifying attempt here at the PBA LBC National Championships. That's right, when you get here, you get 1 attempt, you get to bowl your 6 games, and that's it until the next season. Oh, gets half on the fill shots, 254. He looks a bit stunned on that, but in solid position to take over the lead. He's going to need a huge game to get to that magic 1,500 number. He's going to need to be in the 280s next game to get to that point. But another game in the 250s, and he'll take over the Open and Classic Division lead for now. See if we can get a couple of big finishes here for Gianna Brandolino and Garrett Beyer, our defending champions in the boys handicap division for Garrett, and our overall class champion for Gianna. Interesting that our first 2 years of the PBA LBC National Championships clash, it was second place finishers that took down both titles. Tom Doherty was the second place finisher in the PBA exempt division back in 2023 when he took down the clash title. Gianna was second behind Liz Johnson in the women's classic division. As Gianna looking to leave her mark on the women's classic division today before she heads out the door. Player movement in Game 6 coming up next here from Bolero Mount Prospect and the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. Another squad coming to you 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. here in Mount Prospect, Illinois. Petrin can't get the 10 to go, so that's going to take his chance of getting to that magic 1,500 number down to having to strike out. Except for the fill ball, he could get a 9 count. Get to 279. He's at plus 221 currently. He only needs, I say only, like a 237 game wouldn't be a lot, but he needs 237 pins this game to get past Connor Pula for the early Open Classic Division lead in this event. Only won 300 to this point through almost 4 squads of this PBA LBC National Championships. That was last weekend by Jordan Weaver. And how cool was it for Jordan last week to not only shoot his 300 game, the opening game of his squad on Sunday, but also have Norm Duke come up behind you after you're done bowling, grab your shoulder, turn you around, shake your hand, and go, congratulations on your first 300 game ever. That is definitely a moment. That he'll never forget. Weaver didn't finish the day strong, but knowing that you have that mini Duke, the best award in bowling for a perfect game at an event, you can only get that mini Duke here at the PBA LBC National Championships. That is a 300 award that will be front and center in anyone's home who wins it. And now with Petrin on back-to-back spares, a big game is going to be needed by CJ. He needs to find a way to take all 10 down and do it in a hurry. Appreciate everybody spending part of their Saturday morning with us, getting into Saturday afternoon here. We'll be back at 3 p.m. Eastern with our next squad. That'll be a pretty full squad as well. And tomorrow morning, we are a sellout tomorrow morning. And once again, as I mentioned earlier, you can still get into the PBA LBC National Championships. If you're a youth player and you're watching, or you know a youth player that's looking to bowl, one of the advantages youth players have right now is their entry fee is only $100 for their division. So right now the LBC National Championships entries for the men's and women's handicap and all the classic divisions is $250. But for the youth players, it's only $100, and there's a nice squad coming up. If you're within a couple of hours of Bolero Mount Prospect, Tuesday, June 17th, in conjunction with the PBA Junior World Series of Bowling that's being held here at Bolero Mount Prospect. There's a special LBC National Championship squad that's open to only youth players. It starts at 7 p.m. There's still openings on that squad. So you don't have to be part of the PBA Junior World Series of Bowling to be on that squad. You just need to be a youth bowler. You can bowl in boys handicap, girls handicap, or if you're of higher average and want to take the chance at either the Open Classic or Women's Classic divisions, like we're seeing with some of our youth players today, like Gianna Brandolino. They have that option as well, but they have to buy into that. They have to buy up into those divisions. So, but once again, for the handicap divisions, it's only $100 to get in for their 6 games, and there's a $2,500 guaranteed scholarship on top of those divisions. So PBA Junior World Series of Bowling coverage will be on Bowl TV for those of you that want to follow that, follow some of the best players in the nation. The hope was more best players in the world, but this year the dates are conflicting with the International Bowling Federation World Youth Championships in Sweden, so a lot of players that would normally make the trip over the pond aren't able to do that this year. But I can tell you what, I know they're playing the 2026 edition of the PBA Junior World Series of Bowling, and it's going to be bigger and better than this year's. Mike Sleds does a great job with PBA Junior. He gets a lot of support from everyone at the PBA. A lot of PBA players support it as well. 3 patterns that the players will be taking on during that Junior World Series of Bowling: the Tackett pattern, the O'Neill pattern, and the McCune pattern, along with a 4th pattern to be determined once match play for the PBA Junior World Championship is decided in those brackets. Of course, for more information on PBA Junior, just go to PBA.com. There's a menu in the middle of the page. It says PBA Tour. Click on that. You get a drop-down menu, and that takes you PBA Junior landing page. You can see all the great PBA Junior events that are out there. Here, we'll show you right now after CJ can't get the railroad to carry. Go to that PBA main page. You see that drop down where I got PBA Tour here. 5 down, PBA Junior. You click on that. And there you go. There's all your junior tournament schedules, all the qualifiers that have already been held, and there you see right in the middle of your page there all the information you can get on the PBA Junior World Series of Bowling. And, of course, that squad, as we mentioned, of this PBA LBC National Championships being held for youth players only on Tuesday, June 17th at 7 p.m. Let's peek in on Gianna Brandolino here early in Game 6. Brandolino only 104 over. She's going to be leading the Women's Classic division when she leaves here today, but it's not going to be a total that's going to take down the title for sure. I mean, some of the names coming up that have yet to bowl in the Women's Classic division that have registered include PBA Junior Ambassador Danielle McEwen. Some good stars on the PWBA Tour like Danielle as well signed up. Including Alexis Runk, including Verity Crowley, Melanie McDaniel. And, of course, our defending champion in the Women's Classic division for 2 consecutive years, Liz Johnson, will be taking the lanes again here in year 3, trying to make it 3 in a row for Liz when she takes the lanes a little later in this event. So a tough split here for Petrin. We mentioned trying to take over the lead. There you see the hook into the left side of the 2-pin. Ball takes the 7. So Petrin needs to strike out to take the lead by a pin. Needs to get them all 7, 8, 9, 10. We know Gianna's going to be the leader in the women's classic division, but it's going to be a total. I don't foresee that total holding up. Through the 5+ remaining weekends of this event. Yikes. Karen, you got robbed. The whole world got to see that. I would tell everybody about your highway robbery. Have them tune in to this PBA YouTube channel and see it for themselves. So before, actually they're stepping up at the same time with Petrin and Brandolino. Petrin fires first. Petrin gets the strike he needs to try to take over the lead by a pin. Brandolino airmails the head pin. And this is not looking like a quality finish for Brandolino. Quality cover. And Brandolino will step up right away on lane 7. Trying to salvage a slow start to this game to do first. And Gianna shreds a rack. Trying to salvage 230 out of this game. And Petrin saws the rack again, so we could have a new leader for Open Classic. By a pin, but it's going to take 4 more remaining strikes for Petrin to make that happen. Trouble for Brandolino. And, yeah, that chance to get back into a clash is going rapidly in reverse. Gets one, so, yeah, into the 190s. That one, I wasn't sure if it was going to get all the way back into that 1-3 for Petrin. But it does get there. Taking one last peek in on our champion from last year in the boys handicap division, Garrett Byer, and it is not the day Byer was expecting walking in the door here, I guarantee you. But still, to be able to walk into a bowling center, see your giant banner up above the lanes, showing your picture in action last year from the National Championships Clash, the 2024 Boys Junior Handicap Champion underneath your picture. It's still going to make you feel good even walking out the door on a not so great day like today. So I'm sure Petrin's pretty realistic about this right now. He knows the scores that have been shot in the past. Heck, he was a leader back in 2023 for a short period of time. He wasn't sure back then his score would stand up. He knows early in this event, a score around 1450, 1460 isn't going to stand up, and that flat 10 ends his chance at getting into the lead temporarily in the Open Classic division. Still, a spare here, striking the fill ball for 216. He'll get to a nice plus 237 on his set, and that's definitely going to get CJ a check with Tom Clark's signature on the bottom of it at the end of this event. So we're going to end your audio programming on the squad. Enjoy the last few shots of our players here as they wrap up more competition today for the 2025 PBA LBC National Championships. Our next squad starts 3 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. here at Bolero Mount Prospect. We invite you to join us. Once again, get all your information on the PBA LBC National Championships at pba.com/LBC tournament. And we'll see you back here at 3 Eastern, 2 Central from Bolero Mount Prospect.
It's a vacation.